the hottest comic books in the world. The 10 most purchased invested books in 7 days, over $40,000 has moved. And Jeff, you dislike the first one on the list.
I thought I was going to say that first, but no, you beat me to it. At number 10, Fantastic Four. Number 67, 5 sales with a 12-month average this week for over $3,200 spent. And I don't think it's a wise $3,200 spent, but let's get into the numbers first. A 9.2 sold for $790. That's up 7%. The 9.6 up 15% for $2,200. And I get this book in high grade isn't always the easiest book to get. But I think I would be putting my money into Thor 165 because number 67 of FF is a cameo of him known as Adam Warlock. And I say 165 because let's keep it real. What is the most meaningful appearance of a character? It's the first full appearance. We get backstory. We get potentially a battle. We get to know the character. He is only in kind of this cocoon form in FF67, which really isn't that interesting. But you get some Jack Kirby greatness in the battle, and you get to meet more science versus mythological in this battle because you see Thor battling Adam Warlock, who is a scientific creation by the Enclave.
As little as 3 years ago, this book was hitting between $6,000 and $7,000 at a 9.8. It's officially hitting sub $2,000 when you look at the 9.6 12-month average. 165, you would think, has to be tougher. I mean, look at this white cover on the FF. Well, the FF has a total of 15 copies at a 9.8, whereas Thor 165 has a measly 5. Hit the like and subscribe. Let's talk about number 9 on the list with the death of Gwen Stacy. From 1973, ASM 121. Now, this may be an overpayment, but we see a 9.2 sell for 50% above the recent 12-month average, a year-high sale for $1,097. This is a book you want to try to secure around the $700-800 marker at best, but a 9.2, maybe someone's hoping to crack it, press it, and resubmit. We have Spec on one hand and a timeless key comic book in another. You know, as far as history goes, this is when the deaths of characters in the Marvel Universe began to matter. People may not come back. High stakes stuff, the snapping of the neck, you know, the gut punch that Peter can suffer a life-changing loss. Then we have Sadie Sink's Spec. Could she be Mary Jane? Could she be Black Cat? Maybe she's the daughter of Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire. Is she going to bring in Miles Morales, or is she Spider-Gwen? We started off with people trying to piece this together, and it started to look like a triangle, then a square, and now it's gone officially full circle, and we're now emerging a completely different shape that's looking more like a rhombus.
Number 8, Silver Surfer. Number 4, this unbelievable cover, this great book, and one of the greatest covers that Marvel has ever produced, that many people would say by John Buscema, is kind of that classic story as well, because not only did we see earlier in FF67 the kind of science battle, the mythological, we get to see here cosmic battle mythological when you have Silver Surfer and Thor meeting at this cover, and just an unbelievable, impactful, powerful issue. And also powerful are the 5 sales over 12-month average that we saw this last week, going for over $5,600. The 8.5 is up 16% with a $2,050 sale. That was a year-high sale for this book. Now let's dive on this book on the real deep end in a 9.8. We saw in 2021 a 9.8 go for $90,000. It was a white pager. In 2023, a 9.8 sold for $66,000, off white to white. And in 2025, just in January of this year, same page quality, sold for $42,000. My analysis of this book, if it had been a white pager, I still think this book could have gone closer to $50,000. Now, is that a massive plummet? Yes, but that's what we're seeing after the comic boom. And I feel that we should be more grateful with a book that has 27 copies and a 9.8 to be reaching that number at all.
Before we get to number 7, as you know, Bad Idea has completely taken over the mystery mail called One Per Box is a Planet Death #1 by Ryan freaking Benjamin. And I want to tell you about a new release. FOC is July 7th, coming up, called Cul-de-sac. If you are a fan of vampires, you're going to like this comic book. It is written by New York Times bestseller. You know him from his work on Sandman and X-Men. We got the author Mike Carey attached. Art by Jonathan Wayshak. You know him from Spawn Violator. Jeff, I just sent you a text message of a picture. This is the first time he's seen it. Bad Idea is known for some creative marketing tactics. I mean, clearly they're working with us. And what you are looking at right now is a impaled wood handcrafted stake through a CGC 9.4, 36 in existence. They've done invisible slabs before, but this is a first.
How do you ship this even? Is it like attachable? That's the craziest thing. I like it. This is a display piece. This is one of those things you don't just put in a box. You show off, and it's going to get people to wonder, what the hell am I looking at?
Well, this right here is said to have a splash of Hollywood special effects, wizard crafted gore, 2 tiny vampire bite marks that are evident in every copy, and CGC certification and grading intact somehow.
I wonder if they just have 9 fours and then they just added a stake post. It's just, that's wild to me.
The
Wild to
only
me.
way you can get this is by pledging 500 copies at an LCS of cul-de-sac number 1. First come, first serve. And I'm going to tell you how you can win one at the end of the show.
That's crazy. I want one.
Which brings us to number 7 on the list. Marvel Superhero Secret Wars issue number 8, The Origin of the Black Symbiote Costume. 9.8 for $550, up 14%. 9.8 Newsy for $15.75. That's up 45%. Seems like an aggressive purchase, but people are really throwing money down on the spec that Tom Holland's going to don this symbiote costume at some point. 8 sales above the 12-month average, near $4,000 spent. Now, I feel like a broken record a little bit. I mean, we all know why people are buying this book, but I also want to add an extra layer to it. We have a lot of spec happening for Secret Wars. Keep in mind, Avengers Doomsday is going to be akin to Disney's attempt to replicate Infinity War. So the crescendo will be Secret Wars. And of the 12-issue miniseries, is there any other book that will like propel itself to the very top of collectors' interest if they enjoy this movie or are hyped about this ride, this roller coaster we're going to be on?
I couldn't really think of another book in that 12-issue run, but if I had to think of a symbiote book kind of more fringe that needs maybe a little bit more attention, would be A Web of Spider-Man number 1, Charles Vest classic cover. Same with his annual work on The Web of Spider-Man. Black costume, unbelievable work, and just something that most collectors can obtain pretty easily.
Number 6 on the list is Uncanny X-Men at 94, the second appearance of the full team, but this is really where things kick off with Chris Claremont. Do you think this book is undervalued?
I actually think about that question quite a bit. Oddly enough,
Does it keep you up at night?
No, it doesn't keep me up at night. But I do like think about this book because it's such a prevalent and prominent and absolutely one of the probably most important keys in X-Men, considering that it was a dying run and this literally saved it. If it wasn't for this book, we probably wouldn't have any X-Men movies at all. So I get how important it is, but there's just so many copies of this book.
But what do you think about the 12-month average? I mean, it's sub 40,000, but there was a sale in April for 52K. One of the few books that actually has curved in the positive direction.
I mean, those upper end numbers are going to fluctuate in the thousands, but let's take a look. Just an 8.5, which is something more realistic, is up 4% and had a $960 sale. That's still a very nice looking book. And in an 8.5, that sounds low to me where this book could possibly and should be. I feel like this should be in an 8.5, a $1,700 book.
Do you think people right now are kind of gearing up for Avengers Doomsday? Are we seeing like mutant era spec, people trying to get ahead of the curve?
X-Men, for the most part, has been flat across the board with any major key or any other back issue. And the opportunity to get a high grade copy of a book for very reasonable is a blessing right now, because you're not going to have that forever. I mean, we're seeing books like in the ASM keys and the Batman keys outsell and outpaced by 2-3x. So I think right now getting an X-Men book is something most people should try to do sooner than later.
I think some people would argue the same for Uncanny X-Men 266, which is at the list at number 5, first appearance in full of Gambit. We have 7 sales, $4,000 has moved in the last 7 days, and 9.8 hit 590. That's up 8%. $2,000 for a newsstand 9.8 seems really high, but I would have guessed that this was $2,500, $3,000 for a newsstand of this book, because Channing Tatum is going to reprise the role as early as Avengers Doomsday, but what's next? Are we really banking that he's going to get his own movie? And if he does, how long are we going to have to wait? This is more of a mutant spec long-term past Channing Tatum. And along the way, the census count keeps exploding. And I think there's more to be said about that. Last time we chatted about this book was April 3rd, this year, a little over a month ago. Since then, an increase of 42 9/8s have been added to the census.
Number 4, Avengers number 57. First appearance of Vision, second appearance of Ultron, and we had 7 sales with a 12-month average for over $3,000 spent. This book has been slept on. If you ask me, it only has 16 copies in a 9.8. And to only have 16 copies in a 9.8...
Little surprising, right?
It absolutely is, because an 8.5, just sold for $725. That's up 14%.
That seems really low.
Yeah, it feels that way considering we having Vision Quest. I mean, we're spinning off of WandaVision, now Vision Quest here, and we're going to get some other things incorporated. Allegedly, this is going to be filmed in Madripoor, which to me obviously suggests some excitement because we may be seeing mutants in this show, which is going to bring even more attention to the show, which is going to bring more attention to Vision, which is going to bring probably more attention to this book and higher prices.
Which brings us to number 3, with the first appearance of Black Cat. Easily one of the most spec'd on books in 2025, ASM 194. And it's kind of crazy to think that as of right now, all we have is casting descriptions that sound like it may be Black Cat. But we don't know anything. We've heard rumors about Anya Taylor-Joy taking on the role. We've heard rumors about Sadie Sink taking on the role. And we have heard rumors that this may not even happen whatsoever. But it makes sense. Like, no one's going to be surprised if we see Black Cat in Brand New Day. Which is why we have one of the most spec'd on books of the year. 8 different sales above the recent 12-month average. $5,500 spent. A 9.6 went for $7.11. And although that is what this book has been going for nearly all year long, there was a newsy 9.8 that went for $29.50. That's up 22%. You can get a direct copy for under $2,000 right now. Sales are hovering between $1,600 and $1,800. Classic ASM from 1979. She's on the cover. I think this is a great opportunity for a dope ASM key, regardless of what happens in Brand New Day.
We've had a lot of changes on this channel, Tom.
That's true.
Backgrounds, speeding it up for you guys.
There's a lot of information that we're not even covering anymore.
100%. So if you're looking for something more concise and more of the details in your palm, check out the Key Collector app.
Use code TOM101 to unlock a free 2-week subscription of the app. You support the video. The Hot 10 list on the app is officially a companion piece to our video. You need to review it. There are things we don't cover that you get access to before we even hit the mic. Number 2 on the list, ASM 301, McFarlane, red suit Spider-Man on a cover for the first time by the Todd father. People love this book. I said that to Russ during the trending list because this book has officially jumped from trending to Hot 10 and is landing at number 2. I stand by it. People adore this comic book.
It's beloved. It is not as much as 300, but this book in a 9.8 is extremely difficult. So I almost feel like people like it because it's a little bit of a chase to get in that echelon of 9.8. Now, we saw 10 sales of this book by the 12-month average, almost $3,000 spent. We had a 9.6 newsstand up 15% for $425, and the 9.8 sold for $1,500. That's up 7%.
The newsstand 9.8 goes for about $3,000. That's a 2x multiplier on this white cover. Now, you mentioned a newsy 9.6 up 15%. You know what else has a of 15%? The amount of 9.8s compared to ASM 300. There are 267 9.8s of 301 and 1,749 9.8s of 300.
That's so bonkers to me to think that one issue later, with a similar print run, that there's that much less of 9.8s than there are to the 300.
It's got to be because of that white cover. Hit the like, slap the subscribe button. We make this video every 7 days, and the number 1 hottest book in the world had some ghost variants emerge. You may have a $25,000 book on your hands. Number 1 on the list, Star Wars number 1. 9 sales, $5,500. 9.8 sold for $29.44. That's about the 12-month average. Seeing this book around the $3K marker feels right, even though there's like one new 9.8 a week, it feels like.
It's like the dark side and the light side. What does feel right to you? Because right now, I don't know if 3,000 is right or wrong. All I know is that we have good shows. We have crappy shows.
People like Andor. It's pretty good. It's like adult Star Wars, right?
And for the most part, we have, well, mostly crappy movies, in my opinion.
Even Mark Hamill would agree with you. I mean, he already went on record that he will, quote, "There's no way I'm going to appear as a naked Force ghost."
Well, then I'm not watching the movie unless he's a naked ghost.
All right. Well, we do have some ghosts that have emerged. We are talking about the 35-cent variant. Can you give him a quick little rundown about what that is?
This was Marvel's way of getting more money potentially out of their buyers. They decided to test certain cities' markets and change the pricing from 30 cents to 35 cents. This only happened for a very short period of time with only a certain amount of titles, which makes these books extremely coveted.
This is the 3rd time Star Wars 1 has landed on the Hot 10, but one of the first times in quite a while that it's leading the list. And it's got to be because of 3 different 35-cent variant sales that took place recently. The first is a 6.0 sale that sold for $4,800. Mind you, a 9.8 direct is barely achieving over $3,000 right now. We have a 7.0 that went for $5,400. That's up 6%. And then we have the 9.2. As mentioned, you can get a standard 9.2 for under $500, hitting $25,000 this last week.
Now, listen, if you find a Star Wars one with 35 cents on it, doesn't necessarily mean you have the 35 cent price variant. Check out the Key Collector app to find the delineations that you're going to need to know information-wise, because there's a lot of versions of this comic. There's only 17 9.4s of this book and 3 9.6s, one of which is a signature series. A 9.4 sold this year for $31,000. Can you imagine what one of those 9.6s would sell for? I can't even fathom, but I believe it would hit 70,000. There has to be people hungry for this book.
Let us know what you think in the comment section below. And of course, as always,
Geek responsibly.
enough said. And that's the end of the video. We have this cul-de-sac CGC with a freaking handmade stake piercing through it, graded by the company. I mean, this is nuts. And if you want to win it, join the SMS group, comictom.com. It's our text message group. We're just going to pick someone at random. You keep up with all of our stuff, but also you're part of all of our giveaways. This book doesn't come out till next month. So you have a month to join. You should do it sooner than later. We out.